Brady, thank you so much for taking time out to do this interview with me.
Ab-
Go ahead.
No, absolutely, Sonny. It's my pleasure.
It's been challenging for us under the COVID-19 of the town of Tusayan. Before we go there, though, how's your family doing and kids and everybody?
Yeah, we're doing well. Yeah, my mother and kids have been kind of in quarantine as I've been kind of jumping around doing the volunteers and with all the lunch program and the food bank. But we've done been really careful, made sure we did a really good job of keeping the house kind of separated and some of the kind of safety procedures. But the family's been doing really well. They've handled it remarkably well.
Oh, that's wonderful. One thing I want to do is I appreciate everything you've been doing. I've been next to you and all the hard work and everything. It's been amazing. And I know the town of Tucson has really stepped it up for us, for our community, the locals, and preparing for the tourists coming to town. And can you just give me a couple of things that the town is doing at this point?
Yeah, so at this point, the town, we have been funding the weekend lunch program with the PTA.
Yeah.
Every week we've been doing 585 lunches between the 3 days. We also been
Wait a minute.
supplementing
Can I say
the
that one
food
more
bank.
time?
Yeah,
585 lunches every week.
yeah,
Oh my, those women are unbelievable. I've actually worked with
yeah,
them.
they
It's
are.
incredible. Go ahead.
Yeah,
I'm sorry.
no, you're fine. There's some busy bees. It's been really my pleasure to get to know them. And the one thing that's been nice about this is this kind of sense of community that comes out of it. Is that when it's a silver lining to this pandemic is that the community has done an amazing job of coming together, working together, of course, staying safe, but also providing and remembering what and it's taking care of each other. And it's been pretty amazing to see. And the weekend lunch program is no slouch. It's we're busy. We get in there. It's you got about 2.5 hours to crank out those lunches, and it's been amazing to work with them. Sherry, Benefield, and Jennifer Schock, especially, and then the many others who have been there day in and day out to help.
Yeah, I'm impressed with that. And then one of the school, I heard that you guys are doing something for the school district also, which is incredible too.
Yeah. Yeah, so we had 2 points of outreach actually with them that they kind of brought to our need and attention. Number one was, during times of the COVID-19, this pandemic, is the need for computers. Everybody's working from home, students are learning from home, and a lot of people don't have the internet or computers. And so the town, stepped up and provided funding. We ended up getting 47 computers in total. Two of those went to the fire department for some of their needs, working from home, of course. And then after that, then we put it into the school, and so students have had access to that education. We also, like a skill, just like anything else, is reading, and it's important more than ever, especially high schoolers, middle schoolers, to keep those skills sharp. And if you don't have a library and have access to those resources, then what do you do to stay sharp? And so the town provided funding for all these books from middle school to high schoolers to complement the PTA's efforts for the elementary school kids. So we provided a few books for them that kind of keep them reading. They were able to choose through a list, and you want to keep that sharp and keep that reading and interest in that. And we don't want to let this pandemic stop that.
Yeah. So my question, are they going to continue using the computers over the summer? Are they taking the computers back and then introducing it to them when school starts back up?
Yeah, so as of right now, there's no plans to pull the computers. There's a lot of catch up, and the teachers will do an amazing job of providing some online resources. So we want to give those kids ample time to catch up, if you will.
Yeah.
If they've been lagging behind, which it's been an amazingly group effort, and with the town's effort into the internet, I think it complements it really well. And so there is no plans right now to just pull those computers. So as the things change and the summer commences, it'll ultimately be up to the school. Those laptops are loaned to the school, and will allow them to kind of administer to the families that need it most.
Exactly. So tell me, as far as your kids, are you the school teacher or your wife?
No, No, definitely not the school teacher. I've been too busy. It's been nonstop with all this stuff. So my mom, who is she has a degree in education, and she's been kind of the forefront of that. And my wife as well has been there. But my mom is really the one the credit for that. She's been amazing. She homeschooled us when we were growing up,
Oh,
and continues to do that for my daughters, and it's been amazing.
yeah, I've been listening to some of the parents and go, I can't believe I'm teaching these kids and how much work it is. So I was just like,
Yeah.
my hats go off to all the parents out there. And I heard one more thing that you guys are doing is, you actually supplying some of the food sometimes for the food bank, which was incredible also.
Yeah, yeah. So during times when St. Mary's, just didn't have the supplies necessary, they were ramping up their operations as well. The town did a really concerted effort to provide kind of pantry staples. At least have something in the pantry for people to be able to make bread or some meat of some sorts. We did a lot of beef and chicken, and as well as pinto beans, and then we did rice, flour. There's numerous things that we ended up doing, but once a month we did about $16,000 worth of
Wow.
supplies, and to kind of just boost up those pantry staples, because there's really two folds to it. Because number one, in order to have a society and a community come together, you have to provide for those basic needs: food, water, shelter. So we had shelter, we had water pretty well, but we want to make sure that food's taken care of. But then on the other side is the psychological component: is that you know people want to stay inside. They want to be able to do what they're the best that they can to make sure that they're protecting themselves and their families as well as their loved ones around them. And so, you can imagine a family going to Flagstaff. It's an hour and 15, an hour and a half away
Yeah.
to go to the grocery store and not be able to get bread, milk, eggs, flour, some of those basic things. And then you're exposing yourself and your family on top of that to the pandemic. And so there's a psychological component that we're looking to address and to get some stability. And just, you may have the money and you may not be unemployed. For example, we had 95% unemployment, but there was a few individuals who were still working. And but what are their families going to do if they can't get food? And so we wanted to provide something as a base for the entire community that would make it so that people could stay at home, keep your family safe, stay put in place, and not risk that exposure. And by doing so, the community's, I think, done a really an amazing job for how tight we are and how close all of our quarters are. Some of the dorm units have 5 or 6 people living in them, individuals, and but we've done a good job of keeping that under control. And we've had very low cases of spread up here, so it's been amazing.
Yeah, it's been incredible for me as I live up here myself. And the most scariest time for me is going into the grocery store,
Yeah,
worrying about if someone's going to cough on me, and if they're going to
yeah,
wear the mask or they're
yeah,
going to have gloves on. So it's been a totally challenging
yeah,
experience for myself, and I know for all the community. But like you said, our community is strong and powerful, and we're working together. Now, I know the town also is getting prepared for the reopening of the Grand Canyon, and that means the
yeah,
tourists are going to start coming back. So I know that myself, I have to totally change. I'm gonna miss, giving those big hugs, high
yeah,
fiving, shaking the hands. Because as a professional guide, and I know that you are a professional guide
yeah,
also. It's kind of, I think that's probably the most challenging thing is it's preparing the visitors coming up here, and preparing the employer and
yeah.
employees how to, still enjoy the natural wonder of the Grand Canyon. So what is some of the things that you're doing to prepare our businesses to get ready for that?
Yeah, so our first thing was just determining what businesses need, and then also determining if the businesses really know what they need, and helping with that kind of stuff. Because there are some businesses who are not new to, or who are not new to this, where food service, they've been wearing gloves and hair nets and hats, and cleaning things constantly and keeping things safe for their consumers. Whereas in a tour guide business, any good tour guide knows that a good tour ends either at least with a handshake, but most of the time it ends with hugs. And so,
Yeah.
how do you progress? How do you end up getting past that so that everybody remains safe without sanitizing the experience? And I think the Grand Canyon itself kind of spreads a good message: is that there's lots of space, there's lots of sunshine in the outdoors, and there's ample opportunity to be able to explore, but not in these kind of close, tight knit groups. And so for us, the first thing was determining what do businesses need, and we've taken the effort of purchasing gloves and masks. We're looking into disinfectants. We're looking at hand sanitizers. Businesses have everything that they need to reopen safely. And then there's on the back side of that, of course, is policies and procedures. Working with the chamber, the businesses are online with that. Nothing too restrictive because we live in an incredible people to have the freedom to choose, but also you don't encroach on anybody else's freedoms. And if they choose to keep their family safe, then we need to make sure that we have a nice middle ground, and providing that kind of safety for them. Nobody wants to travel to a place that they could potentially expose themselves and their families to this pandemic. So we want to do the best that we can. So that includes signage, letting people know these are policies and procedures. This is what to expect. Come into a hotel, hand sanitizing stations, and so that it should be a pretty quick norm to everybody that these are kind of the things how we interact with each other now. And it's just to keep people safe, and that's really the name of the game.
Exactly. I feel very confident myself as an operator, and I know all the hotels and the restaurants. Everyone's working together to make sure and to ensure that the safety of the visitors and their employees. I feel very confident that they can come up here and visit the natural wonder of the world, the
Yeah.
Grand Canyon. And one more thing, I know that you have a favorite place in the Grand Canyon. What is that?
Well, if I tell you what my favorite place is, then everybody's going to start going there. Um, no, it's it's funny that it's hard to really define and break it down because especially as a tour guide, you have so many incredible views. But I I've always been partial to Lippin Point. There's something about it. It's just far enough outside of the Grand Canyon Village. It's a little bit of a drive to get there, so it's just an inconvenience enough to most people that they aren't there for a sunset or a sunrise even, which is beautiful as well. And it is one of the highest elevations on the South Rim, so that's always been special to me. Of course, in the rim trail as well, there's various walking points and stuff. And I love to see as you're walking the rim trail to Yaqui Point, say from Pipe Creek Vista,
Exactly.
there's some special little spots in there that you can just kind of take a moment to kind of pull off to the side and be able to, recall and recollect and refresh and be able to just kind of soak in that energy. The canyon is an incredible place. And, whether you believe in that kind of thing or not, you can't deny that the Grand Canyon has something to offer for everybody. That it is a special place.
Exactly. And so you can kind of understand how I came up with Spirit of the Canyon for our news channel. You know what
Yeah.
that means, right?
Oh yeah.
Yeah, and we're all blessed by the spirit of the canyon in
Yep.
our community. And I feel very blessed to be up here and working with you. And I know you told me I can every week you can kind of give me an update of what's going on with the town
Yeah.
of Tusayan, so that we can inform the visitors, inform the locals. I think our town is ready to serve, and I heard a little secret out there. I don't know if it's true or not,
Yeah.
possibly, coming here shortly. We're going to be reopening, a soft
Yeah.
opening that the Park Service is going to be doing, and I know they're going to do it in phases. And I know that as long as people remember the social distance between one another when they're out on the park by themselves, if they get close to somebody, my favorite thing now is wearing a mask,
Yeah. That's exactly it. Yeah. You and me
you know,
both.
and your
Yeah.
hand
There's a couple
sanitizer.
of.
Yeah, it's just it's a little bit different, but it's still, as long as you follow the procedures, you're going to
Yeah.
keep the employees safe around the area. They're going to keep themselves safe. And we're just asking you all out there, please remember, keep yourself safe, because we want to keep the park open. Because if this spreads out, we're pretty much going to be shut down again. And
Yeah.
unfortunately, we're not going to be able to share this experience. So I want to thank you so much for all your hard work, the council's work that they do there, the mayor. This town has been an incredible experience for myself. I'm living in a small community, and I feel blessed to be part of the community and part of everything that's going on. And any last words you want to share before we head out?
No, I like to share in that sentiment, and that I consider myself and my family so lucky to be here. It really is a blessing, and be able to work with the group individuals, the volunteers. We've had 30 to 35 people coming in and out, and helping with those food drives and with the school lunch program and all the outreach that's been done, and just to see the community come together, and it feels like a real community. We're small, we're tight knit. Usually everybody's so busy that there isn't a lot of time for that, and so it's really been amazing to see. But I think it's all in due part to where we live, and it reflects that. Everybody here, I think, feels very, very lucky and fortunate to be so close to the national park. And I know it drives kind of my decision making and what I'm looking for, and how I'd want to make sure that I'm represented is kind of representative of that canyon. And so we feel very lucky.
All right, I'm gonna put something out there real quick.
Yeah.
There's a little slogan that you want to possibly come up with for the
Yeah.
town of Tusayan. What was that?
So you put me on the spot here. Um, I want something big. I want something bold. I want something that everybody knows where exactly Tucson and what it represents. And so one thing that we are lacking is a slogan. And so for me, it's going to come up with is, we are a gateway. Now, of course, gateway to the Grand Canyon. We can't exactly use. It's been used for a little while there. So one thing that the canyon is, though, is one of the seven natural wonders of the world. And so I think that Tucson is the gateway to a natural wonder. And I think it should reflect that. I think our slogan, our marketing, everything should be pushed into something bigger, bolder, and really exemplifies what the Grand Canyon is. And that's what Tucson is.
Exactly, and I just want to give everyone heads up. We're only less than what 2 miles away from the
Yeah.
gateway.
Yeah, it's right there. You could, when you get to the rotary right off the north edge of town, you can see the road and almost all the way to the gate. It's right there how close we are. And so, in order to go to the Grand Canyon, have for this set 95% of the people, they're going through Tucson. And so we are the gateway community to the Grand Canyon, and we're a gateway to a natural wonder.
Yes, and I'm going to support that slogan because I really like that. And thank
Right.
you, Brady, for all your services. I will be following up next week. I look forward of introducing this news channel starting this Sunday at 10
Yeah.
a.m.
I'm
And
excited.
thanks for all your support, man.
Yeah. Thank you very much, Tony. I appreciate it.
All right, have a good day.
You too.